Holiness Ravindra Swarupa Prabhu. I'm sure many of you already know about Ravindra Swarupa Prabhu. He's very famous all over ISKCON. Ravindra Swarupa Prabhu is a very important leader of our movement. He came in contact with Krishna consciousness as early as in 1967. But when he was doing his PhD in Philadelphia, then he moved into the temple in 1971, along with his good wife, Sodamani Mataji. And since then, Ravindra Swarupa Prabhu had been involved in various ways, in many, many important services in ISKCON. Ravindra Swarupa Prabhu is known as a very erudite scholar, profound thinker, and a very accomplished writer. And on top of everything, Ravindra Swarupa Prabhu had been very instrumental in saving ISKCON from various crisis situations. And as I said, he is a hero of ISKCON. And we are very fortunate that we got him here today. And I am also personally very fortunate that Ravindra Swarupa Prabhu considers me to be a very dear friend of his, very close friend of his. We have been very closely serving our movement for many, many years. And so, as I mentioned, Ravindra Swarupa Prabhu came here with his good wife, Mother Sudamani. She also had been a very leading devotee in our movement from the early days, received a lot of mercy from Srila Prabhupada, had many wonderful opportunities to serve Srila Prabhupada in a very intimate way. And we are so thankful to have you here. We're so fortunate to have you here, Mother Sudamani. And also we have Shraddha Devi Dasi, a disciple of Ravindra Swarupa Prabhu. She's also a PhD from Harvard. Oh, master. Okay. Okay. She did her master's from Harvard. Very, very capable devotee. She also has been serving Ravindra Swarupa Prabhu as secretary, and she's actually Ravindra Swarupa Prabhu's daughter. And Ravindra Swarupa Prabhu also has a daughter and two sons, and they also are very wonderful devotees. And so Ravindra Swarupa Prabhu will give a special class tonight, and he wants to speak on a particular verse. Rishabhananda, can you project it on what happened to the screen here? Why is it there? He wants to present a special verse. So how are you going to present it there? Hare Krishna. His Holiness Ravindra Swami Ravindra Swarupa Prabhu ki jai. Mother Sudamani ki jai. Shraddha Devi Dasi ki jai. Thank you.
Ma Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimati Bhakti Vedanta Swami Namaste Sarasate Deve Guruvani Pacharani Devi Seisha Surya Bhakti Pacharani Devi Satani Om Gyanam Timaranda Srigananjana Shalakaya Chakshuru Viritam Jinam Tasmasi Namaha Vanchakalpatrubhyas Chakra Prasindu Vyeva Chapatita So this evening, I wanted to talk about this verse because, well, first of all, Nrsingadev is on my mind because up where I live in a remote part of New York State, we are just getting a Nrsinga on the way, and I have a wooden deity of Nrsingadev. It looks like the Orison style that had been on the altar in the Philadelphia temple, and when they just moved to a new temple room, I got it back. And so now very happy to have this Sringadev deity, which were given to me by Burichan Prabhu years and years ago. And we got it back, and then we got a Shila on the way. So this is about Nrsingadev. But when I really, this particular verse, when I first really got into it in a big way, and really I just want to explain, give an example of how sometimes some spiritual text can really be part of your life and work its way into the cells of your brain or whatever, and really help you out. And this is one that did it for me. In the year, I think 2000, I had reluctantly agreed to become chairman of the GBC. Now, nobody on the GBC wants to be chairman. It ruins your year. But it was sort of my turn. And I knew it was going to be a very, very difficult year. And because certain problems were coming up that I don't want to get into them here, but they were going to be we needed spiritual strength to deal with them. And I tried to convince the whole GBC body that we should, all of us, that year go to Vrindavan for Kartika and together, do a vrata of 64 rounds a day. Well, everybody had different plans already and stuff like that. So I thought, okay, I'll do it. I'll be the chairman. I'm the chairman of the GBC. I'll represent everybody, and I'll go to Vrindavan and I'll do this Kartika. I've never done anything like 64 rounds a day for a month like that, but I'll do it. Magically, all these arrangements showed up. I got a very nice room at the Bhaktivedanta Sadhana Ashram next to Govardhan Hill. Pranadana was there. Anyway, lots of nice vocational authority. Great association. Everything was just like really working out. Really, really good. And so this verse is just started to reading Bhagavatam. And 64 rounds I could handle. I did 16 before Mangalarti, 16 after Mangalarti. I got them through the day, so I had time to do other stuff. So then I was reading this, the fifth canto is a very difficult, challenging part of Bhagavatam. In fact, Prabhupada did this thing where the temple of the Vedic planetarium, which I had gotten involved in too, was put the whole thing right out front where you couldn't ignore it. This picture of the universe is not like the one that we're allowed to see. So I decided to read the fifth canto again. And in the fifth canto, there describes the nine varshas of this center ring island in Jambudip. There's these nine varshas. This is in the ring in the middle where the big mountain goes up very, very high, and the nine varshas are separated by big mountains. Anyway, and it goes around, and in each of those varshas there is a reigning deity of the Lord, and a great devotee offering prayers to them. And the prayers are described in the Bhagavatam as Upanishadic prayers. Prayers in the style of the Upanishad. It means they're prose, basically. They're Upanishadic prayers. And so therefore, while I'm going through this and reading the different prayers and getting it into, I know a little bit of Sanskrit, but to really look at a verse and then look at the Sanskrit word for word and try to fit it all together. I was doing all that kind of stuff. So we're the Varsha called Bhart Varsha, where, for example, Narada leads everybody in prayers to Narayan. But in Varsha north of us, the Hari Varsha, and the Shringadev is there, worshipped by Prahlad. And that's the prayer that's up there. I'll read it. Om Namo Bhagavate Narasimhaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Narasimhaya.
Namaste Jaste Jase.
Namaste Jaste Jase.
Avir Avir Bhava.
Avir Avir Bhava.
Vajranaka Vrajradamstra Karma Shayan. Randaya Randaya. Tamo Grasa Grasa Swaha. Abhayam Abhayam Atmani. Uishta. Om Shaum. So that's the verse, huh? And I really got into this verse. So the running translation here: I offer my respectful obeisances unto Lord Narasimhadev, the source of all power. O my Lord, who possesses nails and teeth just like thunderbolts, kindly vanquish our demon-like desires for fruitive activity in this material world. Please appear in our hearts and drive away our ignorance, so that, by your mercy, we may become fearless in the struggle for existence in this material world. That's the running translation. But if you look at it, okay, so it says, Om Namo Bhagavate Narasimhaya, that's clear enough. Now, offering obeisance in the Shringadev. He is described as Tejas Tejasi, the power of all powers. And then Avir Avir Bhava, please appear, manifest yourself. Prabhupada says somewhere that whenever there's repetition, it indicates intensity of feeling. Avir Bhava. How should he appear? Vajra. You know what a Vajra is? It's a lightning bolt. It's Vajra. You know? There's Vrajayana Buddhism, for example. So Vrajanaka, his claws are like thunderbolts or lightning bolts. Vajradamshtra, his fangs, his teeth are like thunderbolts. So this is how he appears. You want him to be manifest, to appear in this way, you know, with these like, I mean, Prabhupada did this interesting thing by having us worship the Shringadev right away, you know, and it frightens people. And Prabhupada was afraid we wouldn't take to it very well, but everybody got into the Shringadev quite a bit. So. But, and we were told as we chanted the Shringa prayers every morning for the protection of the movement. But we were thinking that the threat would come from the outside, but as this one makes clear, from the inside too. There was a cartoon in America ran called Pogo about these swamp rats, swamp animals that talked. And there was a famous slogan that Pogo had with a little sign, "We have met the enemy, and he is us." So we always have to remember this stuff. So anyway, so here's this prayer. We're asking him to appear in our hearts with this fangs and claws like thunderbolts. And what does he do? Karmashayan, and Karmashayan Prabhupada translates here as the deep-rooted desires to enjoy in the material world. Karma asha. Asha is a deep root, so karma ashaya. Randaya. Vanquish. This, here is karma ashaya, demonic desires to be happy by material activities. That's how he translates it in the word for word. And then randaya, and then tamo grasa. Grasa he translates as drive away, but it actually means eat up. Grasa is to devour, or what are ignorance. And then it says Om Swaha, offering obeisances here. And then another reason I really like this word, Abhayam. This is Prabhupada's name, Abhayam. Abhayam. Atmani. Bhuyishta. May you appear, Atmani. Prabhupada translate here, in my mind. May you appear in my mind and give me Abhayam, fearlessness in this world. And then Om Shraum. Shraum is the bija of seed mantra of prayers offered to the Lord in Sringadevi. So that's the prayer, and so I really memorized it and learned it really well. And I like to learn these in Sanskrit so I don't have to, say the thing and then translate it and like this. Then Prabhupada has a really interesting purport to this verse. He starts by quoting from Bhagavatam, Sanat Kumar to Maharaj Prithu. You may know this verse, Yat Pada Pankaja Palasa Vilasa Bhaktya Karmashayan. See, that's why he picked this verse. It has the same Karmashayan. Gratitam Udgrantayanti Santaha Tadvan Nadikta Matayo Yatayo Piyudha Shoto Ganasta Maranam Bhajava Sudevam. He translates it here, devotees always engaged in the service of the toes of the Lord's lotus feet can very easily become free from hard-knotted desires for fruitive activities. And that's the whole thing. This is the Karmashayan, hard-knotted desires for fruitive activities. How do we get rid of it? If we look at our hearts and see our material desires, they're so hard and so deeply rooted, and they don't want to go away very easily. So because it is very difficult, the non-devotees, the jnanis and the yogis, cannot stop the waves of sense gratification, although they try to do so. This is the jnanis and the yogis, even they can't do it. Therefore, you are advised to engage in devotional service of Krishna, the son of Vasudeva. Then Prabhupada goes on, every living being within this material world has a strong desire to enjoy matter to its fullest satisfaction. Guilty as charged. I have to say that. For this purpose, the conditioned soul must accept one body after another, and thus his strongly fixed fruitive desires continue. One cannot stop the repetition of birth and death without being completely desireless. Now, if most of us are honest, we look in there and whoa, we get rid of a few desires and there's more there. Well, I didn't know those were there, and then there's more show up, and wow, where'd that come from, and so on. And he says, but that's the requirement. Therefore, Srila Rupa Goswami describes pure bhakti as follows: Anya Bilasita Shunyam Jnana Karma Dhyana Vritam Kulyena Krishnanu Shivanam Bhaktir Uttamam. He translates it here: one should render transcendental loving service to the Supreme Lord Krishna favorably and without desire for material profit or gain through fruitive activity or philosophical speculation, That is called pure devotional service. So that's the definition of Bhakti Uttama, pure devotion. That means jnana and karma anavritam, they're gone. Prabhupada goes on, unless one is completely free of all material desires, which are caused by the dense darkness of ignorance, one cannot fully engage in devotional service of the Lord. Therefore, we should always offer our prayers to Lord Nrsimhadev, who killed Hiranyakashipu, the personification of material desire. Hiranya means gold, Kashipu means a soft cushion or bed. Materialistic persons always desire to make the body comfortable, and for this they require huge amounts of gold. Thus, Hiranyakashipu was the perfect representative of materialistic life. He was therefore the cause of great disturbance to the topmost devotee, Prahlad Maharaj, until Lord Nrsimhadev killed him. Any devotee aspiring to be free of material desires should offer his respectful prayers to Nrsimhadev as Prahlad Maharaj did in this verse. And I thought, gee, I should do that. So that's when I really remembered it. Started saying it every day and really take it quite seriously. So the enemy is us, there's a Hiranyakashipu in the heart who wants to enjoy the material world to full satisfaction, bigger and harder and tougher and meaner than me. But if Nrsimhadev comes and sits in my heart and does it, then it can happen. So we just got, we have to say, there's a Christian saint, Augustine, who said, when I was new and foolish, I prayed, oh Lord, give me chastity, but not just yet. So we can't be like that. We have to say, now, come and do it, and really invite him, and have the trust that when all those material desires go away, you will really be fulfilled. And all the things that everybody's trying to sell us or pay, get us to buy or whatever, and to satisfy ourselves. I mean, look at all these people around us in this country. They're dying for this, they want that, are they going to be happy? Are they going to be satisfied? Are they going to have enough? No. Prabhupada said about materialists, all they enjoy is a little mental happiness. Oh, I had a nice life. I had something like that, So that's why I really learned this verse and learned how to chant it, and it helped. I mean, when I was finished with that vrata, which I did accomplish that, and Krishna made arrangements, and I stayed in India. I canceled my plans to go back and traveled around to different trouble spaces that we were having right then in India, so I probably did some good. A few years later, I thought of this prayer again because at that time I was in Hawaii. I was a GBC for Hawaii for my sins, and there was a lot of problems there, and I was trying to deal with them. And I got a phone call from Rukmini, my god sister, who's in DC, and she says, this was the first anniversary of the attacks of the airplanes in New York City when the two towers came down, and so Washington D.C. America has no established religion, but the upper classes would sort of be like to be like England. So there's a national cathedral, and it's the Episcopal Church, which is the American equivalent of the Church of England. So it's sort of like very ritualistic Protestant church. But because it can't have an official American religion, that's a state religion, they do other things there too. And so Rukmini was there as part of an interfaith prayer group that they would meet, and she participated in this national cathedral. And she told me that as the first anniversary of September 11th, they wanted to have an interfaith service in memory of the people that died and offering prayers. But they wanted people from all different religions. And they had asked her if she knew somebody that could represent Hinduism. And she thought of me. And so I was a GBC for Washington also. Anyway, I knew her a long time ago. But anyway, so I said to her, I said, look, this is literally a state occasion. And that for this program, everybody from every embassy will send people there. And the Indian embassy were there. And if the representative of Hinduism is a guy in white skin, some of them might get a little upset. So before there's an international incident by my representing Hinduism, why don't you ask? So she got back to me a few days later and said, they said it's okay. So I was really surprised. And we were supposed to, we would go and talk twice to everybody. One with a scriptural verse, and the other with a prayer. And so, looking at this, I was looking at this verse in the Sringad, and I said, well, I can't do that one, you know. But then I looked at the next one, because after, in all of these varshas, after there's this Upanishadic prayer, then there's a kind of blessing. And the one that comes after this one was really good. And this is text 9. And so that's the one I was going to use. And I found out that I could say it in Sanskrit and then in English. I really wanted to hear I wanted them to hear the Sanskrit. Because this verse starts, Swastiastu. And I thought, one of the things that, well, those people from India, when they hear Swastiastu, they'll all know what that is. So, okay, that's pretty orthodox there, you know, let there be swasti, auspicious, the swastiastu. You got to hold your hand up like this, swastiastu. But this verse is great. I'll read it in Sanskrit. Swastiastu vishvasya kala prasidatam dayantu bhutani shivam mitodiya manastabhadram bhajatat adhuksaje aveshatam no matyarapyahantuki. The way Prabhupada translates it here. Now, I did my own translation for this, I'll show you, because I wanted it to fit the rhetorical occasion, so I'll show you how I modified it. But here's Prabhupada's translation. May there be good fortune throughout the universe. Swastiastu. There it is, huh? Kala prasidatam, and may all envious people become prasidatam, peaceful or pacified. Dayanta bhutani shivam mitodiya. May all living entities become calm by this Prabhupada adds this, by practicing bhakti yoga. He sort of expands this a little bit. For by accepting devotional service, they will think of each other's welfare. See that's the Dayantu Bhutani Shivam Mitodiya. They will think auspiciously about each other. So Prabhupada added that in the translation. Manasta Badram. Oh yeah, that part is not in the translation. Manastra Bhadra, may our own minds become Bhadra. Bhajata. Adhoksaje, by the Supreme Personality of Godhead, because let our minds be absorbed in that way. Aveshatam na. Manasta Bhadra, may our mind become auspicious by being absorbed in the Supreme Lord. Ahaituki, without motivation, like that. Prabhupada says this. The following verse describes a Vaishnava. Vanchakal Patrubhyaschakrata Sindhu Bhevacha Patitanam Bhavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Just like a desire tree, a Vaishnava can fulfill all the desires of anyone who takes shelter of his lotus feet. Prahlad Maharaj is a typical Vaishnava. He's the one that's offering this prayer. He prays not for himself, but for all living entities, the gentle, the envious, and the mischievous. He always thought of the welfare of mischievous people like his father Hiranyakashipu. Prahlad Maharaj did not ask for anything for himself. Rather, he prayed for the Lord to excuse his demonic father. That's who he's thinking of. This is the attitude of a Vaishnava who always thinks of the welfare of the entire universe. Srimad Bhagavatam and Bhagavad Dhamma are meant for persons who are completely free of envy. Parama Nirmatsaranam. Therefore, Prahlad Maharaj prays in this verse, Kala Prasidatam. May all the envious persons become pacified. The material world is full of envious persons. But if one frees himself of envy, that's myself, I may not be able to do about a lot of other people, but I can certainly, deal with this one. So if one frees himself of envy, he becomes liberal in his social dealings and can think of others' welfare. Anyone who takes up Krishna consciousness and engages himself completely in the service of the Lord cleanses his mind of all envy. Manasta Bhadram Bhajata Adhoksaje. Therefore we should pray to Lord Nrsimha to sit in our hearts. So now we go back to the last verse, right? So now we should pray to Lord Nrsimha to sit in our hearts. We should pray Bahir Nrsimha Hridaye Nrsimha, which we just did, What are we saying? Let Nrsimha sit in the core of my heart, killing all my bad propensities. Let my mind become clean so that I may peacefully worship the Lord and bring peace to the entire world. Well, that's pretty far out, huh? So we do that. Bahir Nrsimha Hridaye Nrsimha. This is what we should be asking, huh? Hridaye Nrsimha. He's out there, but he's inside. So I want him to be inside the core of my heart. Why? To kill everything that is unwanted. All the unwanted things. And then let my mind become clean so I may peacefully worship the Lord and bring peace to the entire world. That's our mission. That's Lord Chaitanya's mission. That's our mission. Not just for ourselves. We try to help ourselves so that we can help other people. If we ourselves are not becoming pure, we can't really work on helping anybody else. So I thought this is a great verse here. So I gave them this reading from scripture part, Swastiastu. And this is the way I translated it to kind of fit the occasion, the rhetorical occasion. May the entire universe be blessed with peace and hope. May everyone driven by envy and enmity become pacified and reconciled. May all living beings develop abiding concern for the welfare of others. May our own hearts and minds be filled with purity and serenity. May all these blessings flow naturally from this supreme benediction. May our attention become spontaneously absorbed in the rapture of pure love unto the transcendent Lord. Because there's a progression here. Gopi Pranadana pointed this out to me, that there's a progression. You start from here, they come to the, everything is, it's implicit that how does this happen? Aveshatam no matirapihaipuki. This supreme benediction, we all praying, may we become free. So that's the way I gave it to the National Cathedral people, and they printed it in their booklet and put it on their website. And all kinds of people were coming. Can I have a copy of that? Can I have a copy of that? Can I have a copy of that? So it was really nice to see that happen. So anyway, that's sort of an adventure with a verse like this one, and there's many things like that. We should, you know, if you look at them and take them to heart and memorize them and think about them, we become guided and learn how to have these things come to us, and it was really great, you know. I mean, what I noticed, we were those of us who were speaking this thing, we were up very high. You know, you go up to, there was a kind of a podium. You went out on a little bridge, and there was a big thing. And below, I could see all these people. There's Madeleine Albright, who was the Secretary of State, and there was all kinds of people I recognized from the newspapers. Whole bunch of people from the Pentagon, because one plane was landed in the Pentagon, so they had quite a few fatalities in D.C. So it really, you know, felt, I thought maybe this will really have some effect, I don't know. And so I noticed that when other people were coming up before me, the acoustics in that building were terrible. And you couldn't understand them because the echo was coming back. So I said it really, really slowly, you know, Swastiastu Vishvasya Kava Prasidam Dayantu Bhutani Shivam Mito Diya, you know, like that. And then I did the English translation, because I asked, can I do this in Sanskrit and English both? And they said, yeah, you can do that. So that's what's happening. So these kinds of opportunities come up, and we get led. You know, our business, we are actually, each of us, given the means of advancing in Krishna consciousness. We should always be thinking, what is the next step? I mean, really, I think Prabhupada's orders to all of us is twofold. Become Krishna conscious yourself and share it with others. Give it to others. You know, just those two things. And so we should be looking how we can advance our own, what is the next step? If you look at the whole thing, you say, I'm not up here tomorrow, I can't do that. You go, But if you just have to take the next step, you know? If we just take the next step, to me, we have to kind of prove to Krishna that we're interested. that we want that next step. And may see that, yeah, I've got so many problems, but please, so help me with these problems. He's in the heart. He wants us back to Him more than we want to go. And so if we ask Him to help us, we'll find help shows up on the doorstep. But you have to take it. You know, you have to take it. I remember before I was a devotee, I used to be an adept with the tarot cards. It was something I did, but there was one card that I always remember where there's a guy, they showed there was little pictures on it, and this was the fifth 5 cups. They had these different suits, and one was the cups. And there's a guy sitting under a tree, and there's 3 or 4 these chalices, you know, big metal cups. On the ground in front of him, turned over, the water spilled out. And he's sitting there like this, and in front of him, there's floating a little cloud. And from the cloud, a hand is coming out, and it's holding a chalice. And he's still like this. So sometimes it's like that. We get it, okay, yeah, all right, you know, because Prabhupada told us that He's given everyone in this movement has the same opportunity for spiritual advancement. Doesn't matter your nationality, your educational level, it's there. It's there. And if you're dealing with Krishna's mercy, you know, that's not a problem with Him. Whatever kinks or lacks we have, he'll deal with it. But we have to just show we want it. We can't be there and, you know, keep giving the blessings that we turn away, you know. But if we just show, and we show by taking the next step. And maybe I just give one, to me, the other thing that Prabhupada gave us, I mean, there's many complicated things in Krishna consciousness, and difficult and intricate. But in a sense, one of the practice of japa that he gave us, I really like it because it's simple. Because if you think there's an arena, right, when you're chanting japa, and it's really simple. There's the holy name, there's you, and there's your mind. Deal with it. and to show Krishna you're interested, you just have to try to fix the mind on the holy name. At first it's seem quite mechanical, you know, but you're showing Krishna you are interested in a relationship. It's not exactly a mechanical process, because Krishna's name is the same. So He's there in His name. Abhinatva nama. There's no difference between the name and the thing name. So we have access to Krishna. I mean, the amazing thing about Lord Chaitanya is He's given everyone access. If you're a Brahmana in India and you want to worship the deities, you got to spend at least 20 years learning how to do it, and they don't let you on the altar, until you really know all the mantras. I mean, the access is tough. But now anyone can chant Hare Krishna. You have access, and it's there. And so there's Krishna in the form of the name. Really 3, you have to only know 3 words. I mean, I showed you this complicated Upanishadic prayers. Just try to read the Upanishads sometime. But in Sanskrit, Bhagavad Gita is like shot for children, This is Upanishad. So here you have just Hare, Krishna, and Rama. And they're all in the same case, in the vocative case, as that's grammar simple. Oh Krishna, oh Hare, Simple, right? So the 3 words. And then put the mind there. And then if you discover the mind is going away, the attention is wandering, bring it back. At first it's mechanical. The mind wanders, bring it back. Start to think about this, got so many worries, you got so many problems, things diverting the attention. Bring it back. As soon as you notice, bring it back. Now, it's mechanical, but on the other hand, it's not mechanical because you are showing Krishna you want a relationship just by the effort. And it may not seem successful, but just by doing that, something starts to happen. And the effect of the chanting the Hare Krishna mantra, if you start chanting like that, and chant with a vow. Of course, if you're initiated, you've taken a vow to chant 16 rounds. But even in the beginning, somebody's starting, just say, make a vow. Chant 2 rounds a day. And do it. And then increase. When you can do more, increase. Most of us started that way. We started with a few, and then we add, you do it with a vow. And when we are chanting correctly, something will happen. And what will happen is the modes of passion and the modes of ignorance will decrease. No one else in America is doing this in any deliberate way. America is the mode of passion. Its standard of advancement is the standard of the mode of passion. You get more money, you get more fame, you get more things, all this stuff. But the result of the mode of passion, we read in the Bhagavad Gita, is what?
Suffering.
Yeah, misery, suffering. That's what happens. What do you do when you start suffering? You've worked hard, you've got everything, you've got so many golf courses, you've got so many, whatever it is you have, and you're still not happy, you're miserable. You go to the mode of ignorance. You take intoxicants to allay the misery. That's the future of advancement in terms of the mode of passion. We have to save ourselves, we have to save this country, we have to save the world. We have to actually establish at least the standard of the mode of goodness. And so by chanting that way on the Prabhupada called it the clearing stage of chanting. Remember, there's an offensive stage when you're committing offenses. The pure stage, when Krishna and Krishna's name are the same and you know it, you're right there with Krishna. But the clearing stage, you're trying to become free from offenses. And the first offense, and Bhaktivinoda Thakur points out the offense that we have to deal with in order to become free from all the other offenses is inattentiveness while chanting. If we can't deal with that, we can't deal with the others. So that's where we start. And you can get a handle on it because right there it is. There's your attention. It wanders, you bring it back. It wanders, you bring it back. You're showing even the effort gives a result because Krishna sees that you're trying. And then it becomes, and then you start to see the modes of passion and the modes of ignorance start to decrease. All their effects are described in the Bhagavad Gita. And then the mode of goodness comes. And the mode of goodness, the result of the mode of goodness is happiness. And then Vishuddha Sattva, purified goodness. When it's all passion, ignorance is all gone, then you're there, then you can actually are in a position to perceive the Lord. That's our system. Really simple, hard to do. And we live in the age of distraction. There are so many distractions. And you got the little thumbs going like crazy all the time. And all our things is more distraction. There's the English poet T.S. Eliot who, back in the 20s, wrote about the modern world in a poem with the line, "Distracted from distraction by distraction." Even then it was piling up, So now it's really distractions all the time. So that's where we have to really concentrate our efforts and fix our mind not to be distracted And although people are really trying to distract you, all the time, pop-up screens and all that stuff. So we have been given the means. And it's not just for ourselves, it's for the rest of the world. The more we become Krishna conscious, the more we can also give it to other people. So it's really a service to humanity. It will not be appreciated at first, but it really needs the human race, some people who know how to cultivate the mode of goodness and to bring about what they need. They're going to have to, things are going to go pretty badly if it keeps on going the course it's going now, and they don't know how to deal with it. But we've been given the means. And we're very fortunate to have that, so we should take full advantage of it. And then we'll also get the blessings and help of Srila Prabhupada and all our acharyas. And miracles happen. The Prabhupada said miracles simply mean you don't know how it's done. So it's not something, but we can make them. Okay, let's see if there's any questions or comments. Thank you. Maharaj.
Can I have a copy of the translation?
Oh, yeah.
Also, I just was recalling, in support of what you just pointed out throughout this verse. You see, when Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur was 6 years old, Srila Bhakti Vinod Thakur gave him Narasimha mantra.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that. Right.
And he gave him the Narasimha mantra because Narasimha Dev actually removes all the impediments from the path of devotion. Bhakti Vigna Vinasham.
Yeah, that's right.
So he actually removes all the impediments. So, we need to take shelter of Narasimha Dev so that he removes all the impediments from the path. And then our progress in devotional service becomes smooth.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Where is that stated? I've heard that said before, Bhakti Vigna Vinasham and Sringata. Is it in a text somewhere, or?
I didn't make any research.
No, okay. I've heard it before, but I didn't.
Actually, it's.
I think it's the practice in Gaudiya Mantra. That's how we got it.
Yeah.
After the Narasimha prayer.
Yeah.
They say Bhakti Vigna Vinasham.
Nishunga, yeah, they say like that. Yeah, that's where it comes from. Anyone else?
Yes, Maharaj, and Mr. Govind, determining this next step, how do we get it clear? What is the next step?
I think Krishna will reveal it. Not that it's going to whisper in your ear, but it'll just become self-evident and not subtle. So that you'll meet the person, you'll meet 3 different persons that'll say the same thing to you, sort of, like that. Or you'll just be in a circumstance where suddenly this opportunity was here, which you didn't see before, And since we know the general pattern, will there be a step in advancement? And then there's, of course, that progression of those Shraddha, Sadhusango, Prabhajana, Kriya, and so on. There's that general progression from the beginning all the way up to Krishna Prema. And that's the general way we should look to see it happening. But I think, sometimes, you don't know how it will come, but it's usually quite obvious. Some change in the environment will take place, and some kind of thing, or you keep reading the same phrase all over and over again, or something like that. What happened?
That was actually quite enlightening, you know, like this, the translation that you did of that verse. You see, you can see, it just occurred to me that Prabhupada actually made the translations for the devotees.
Yeah, that's right. This was a different audience.
Like, so he translated Adhokshaji as, you know, Krishna. Like he pointed out, devotion to Krishna. But the literally actually Adhokshaji means who is beyond, who is transcendental to the material nature.
Yeah, so I said the
So that's how you did it.
the transcendent Lord. Yeah.
Right, transcendental Lord.
Yeah.
Thank you. So that actually made me realize actually that when we are presenting to the kind of outsiders, our presentation has to be rather tactful.
Yeah.
Otherwise, just consider, you know, like the same translation, the way if you did it, if you presented it in the cathedral, then, you know, somebody who knows Sanskrit would have challenged you. Like, I mean, where is Krishna here?
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
And so, but the thing is that as devotees we understand it perfectly. Adhokshaji actually means Krishna.
That's right.
But, you know, like when you're presenting to that kind of audience, we have to be very careful how we present it. And that's what Prabhupada actually used to say, that when it comes to preaching, a preacher must know how to present it. He should see to whom he is presenting and present it according to his ability to grasp. Just like a PhD, when he goes to a primary school, he doesn't give it, you know, his PhD thing. Like he gives it to the point they can understand. Thank you.
Yeah, I went through a little soul searching about changing the translation, but then I saw that the way Prabhupada had done it wouldn't fit the occasion. And you're right, you know, anyone who's reading the fifth canto of the Bhagavatam is a devotee, pretty much already, you know. An insider, yeah, as you said. So yeah, that's how I did it. Nobody seemed to mind that I changed Prabhupada's translation somehow. I followed them quite strictly, actually.
Prabhupada said, if you don't have any question, that means either you understood everything or you didn't understand anything. Now I leave it up to you to decide in which category you fall. Don't feel shy, ask questions. Give him.
No, any topic.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, thank you so much for all those wonderful insights into the chanting problems that you described. Especially the analogy that you have given, that we are entering the arena.
I'm sorry, there's some feedback. Sorry again.
When you are chanting, you are entering the arena that you, the Mahamantra, and your mind. And you often bring your attention. So, can you please give us a few more tips how to bring our attention to Mahamantra?
I mean, the Mahamantra is present, right? This is Hari. Prabhupada wanted us to say it and think it at the same time. So, and actually, in some ways, a classic definition of japa is mental chanting. So sometimes you can go along with your mouth and your mind to somewhere else. So you really have to make sure the mind is there. But the mind focuses on the sound. You say the sound in your head and your mouth says the sound at the same time. But you just find out that, and I've noticed that when my mind has wandered, I can't remember when exactly that happened because I wasn't paying attention. But you know, and then I noticed, oh, my mind has wandered, and something can distract you. You know, there can be a noise outside or something like that, or you don't know what it is, but your mind is wandered, and just bring it back. Never mind spending time wandering while figuring out why your mind wanders. Just bring it back and put it where it belongs. And it's a question of a habit of paying attention. You know, and we may have had a bad habit of inattentiveness, and so it's hard to change habits. But once you've got a good habit, then also you'll remember. So it's a question of establishing this habit of paying attention, and you know, then when I discover my mind is wandered, I feel so embarrassed actually that this is happening. Bring it back, bring it back, bring it back, and it'll improve. You know, it'll wander less and less, and then you know, the effect of the name will become apparent to you. I mean, it's very interesting because what you're dealing with is consciousness. Attention directs consciousness. And consciousness doesn't come from the mind. Consciousness comes from the spirit soul. So it's really good news you're not your body, and really, really good news you're not your mind. Because we have two bodies, you know, the gross body and the subtle body. That subtle body is also a covering. And the subtle body came with us from a previous birth. We don't know what's in there. It's got all kinds of stuff we don't know. But when you're paying attention to the holy name, then you're not also on the mental platform. Then we're dealing with buddhi, intelligence. And Krishna says, Dadami buddhi yogam tam yena mam, I give them the buddhi yoga. So that shrine brings Krishna in there to give the buddhi yoga. And then once you're doing this, concentrating on Krishna, then he says, I destroy the darkness born of ignorance. That's how it goes away, because Krishna destroys it. He gets rid of it. And then we discover that we are not alone in this body. There's two of us. Because the Supersoul is the self of the self. Can you doubt your own existence? No, why not? Because who's doubting, right? The same way you will not be able to doubt the existence of Krishna. Because he's the self of the self. We are part and parcel of Krishna. And so it will become obvious that in your body and in your mind, you are not alone. There's two of us. Like the two birds on the branch of the tree in the bunch. And so these things become self-evident. And you can no more doubt God's existence than you can doubt your own. And that helps. You feel pretty secure that you know you're not alone. Anyway, some of the things and that's just early stages of Krishna consciousness, really, you know. But to get there, that part, you know, really, what one has to be. I mean, it may be in our body and mind, you know, the mode of passion may have slipped, or the mode of ignorance may, but you just ignore it and that's not me. That's my mind. That's my body. I just ignore that, get back to Krishna, and it goes away. That's the not self.
Thank you so much, Prabhuji. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
One thing I found helpful was like, think of it as a matter of etiquette in one sense, that like if you invite me to your house and then I come in and then you just don't pay any attention, you go about doing other things, you know.
That's rude.
You know, so we're inviting Krishna, we're inviting him with a holy name, but we're busy doing other things, not really giving full attention. And yet he's giving us full attention individually. So sometimes it's nice to think like that and give him the attention he deserves. Otherwise, don't invite him.
Yeah, if you invite say, you know, you invite an important friend or maybe your boss or somebody to your house, and the person shows up and you're not there. Hey, anybody home? Are you here? Yeah, I'm in the back fixing up the rose garden. Just I'll be to sit down, you know. It's rude, you know. Yeah, true. Am I calling people?
Thank you. Really, it's wonderful. You nicely mentioned this Krishna, Rama, or vocative. Also, Prabhupada mentioned, O Krishna, O energy of Radha. But when you're chanting Hare Krishna, engage me in my service, we should specify, engage me in my spiritual master service, engage me in preaching, should we?
You could, if there's some particular service that you're concerned with. But you know, we have obligations and things like that. But there's different levels of service too, you know, at the same time. I mean, there's service to Krishna can start, I mean, your spiritual life begins and we see the six Goswamis, you know, they're looking, hey Radha, hey Rajadevi, you know, they're looking, that's the service they want. So it depends. So and you can be engaged in Krishna service in many ways at once. You know, we're all engaged in the service of the spiritual master. Satisfy the spiritual master, and then the spiritual master satisfied Krishna, satisfied, and so that's another aspect. You can simultaneously be serving many people at once in this way. And I tend to think of it as like just wanting more service, more. But what I'm doing, I do better. And I want to increase in any way. You show me how I should increase. It's when you want service, you say, it's not what I want. What do you want me to do? Prabhupada pointed out the word kimkara means one who says what? The servant. What do you want me to do? We should always be asking, what do you want me to do? What do you want me to do? And then and the advice we got from Prabhupada, that anytime you make a change, make sure you're increasing your service. Never decrease your service. You increase. And anytime there's a change, you should increase your service. That's Maharaj?
But while chanting the Hare Krishna Mahamantra,
The microphone.
while chanting the Hare Krishna Mahamantra, Prabhupada specifically said, just hear the chanting.
Yeah, that's what you're doing.
Right.
That's your service right there.
Right. Just hear, because it's a transcendental sound vibration. And the only means that we have to receive the sound vibration is through hearing. So just focus on hearing. To think about something while chanting, you're actually going to the mental platform. So it's just hear and chant. And then Rupa Goswami is saying, from Shravan, Smaran will take place. Remembrance automatically will take place.